The most famous investment advisor in Australia by a long shot. He's easily the most famous investment analyst guru, called the Barefoot Investor. He's weighed in to the global automotive industry EV disruption race, and he's saying something which is fascinating. I've never really thought about it like this before. You've got to hear what he said, because it might change your way of looking at things. When you go, right, to buy your electronics, your TVs, your music systems, your whatever it is, you go to your local store, right? And a lot of the brand names you probably never heard of 20 years ago. Well, he says that's what's happening now. That actually EVs will take over. They're getting better every year and cheaper every year. And the companies doing this, making this happen, are the Chinese brands. Therefore, they will be the future. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching The Electric Viking. If you get value from the channel, please subscribe or support the channel by clicking on the link in the description to become a YouTube member. Thanks for your support. Here in Australia, EVs have just hit their biggest sales month in history. And the Barefoot Investor, Scott Pape, he's delivered a warning to legacy automakers. And really, he's saying, actually, this is the future. BYD recorded its best ever month of sales in Australia. Tesla had a great month as well, actually. And the Chinese brand is now selling more cars in Australia than Tesla. And in fact, it's actually selling more cars than Kia and Mitsubishi too. That's only going to increase as well. As more customers buy these cars, they're going to get used to it. Basically more people will feel confident to buy one too. Pape's warning was sparked by his father buying a new car. He said to his dad, okay, Dad, you're going to buy a new car. Here's my advice. Buy a Tesla Model Y or something like that. His dad, being an older gentleman and more afraid of change, he said he wasn't a fan and he didn't want to do it. He said it's not practical to buy an EV. Where's he going to charge it? At his house, at a charging station. How much would it cost to fix? Not a lot to fix. And what would it be worth in a few years? Well, obviously you can say exactly the same things to an internal combustion car, can't you? Anyhow, Pape said cars have always been a terrible investment. You don't buy a car as an investment. I mean, unless it's actually a work truck, it's not an investment. So get that idea out of your head, Dad. And EVs, he also said EVs just let you feel morally superior while you do it. But they also let you save a lot of money. Cars are a depreciating asset though, and that means they decline in value over time. That's inevitable. There's nothing you can do. But you can do one thing, and that is get rid of having to pay for petrol, gasoline, or diesel. So he also mentioned this. Cheap electric cars from China are flooding the market, and they are. They're going to take over the market, said Pape. And prices are only going one way. In China, BYD, the world's biggest EV maker, recently slashed its local car prices by 34% overnight, said Pape in his weekly column. Now, that's not actually accurate. It was between 11 to 34% for, I think, 22 different models, but they have lots more than 22 models. So they slashed the prices by between 11 to 34% for 22 models, not for everything. He goes on, I grew up choosing between a Ford or a Holden, okay, and Toyota and Mazda. I'm convinced that for my kids, cars will be like shopping for a TV at JB Hi-Fi. Lots of weird sounding Chinese brand names that get better and better and cheaper every year. In other words, it's an electric race to the bottom with no one at the wheel. Now, I guess he has a point. I don't agree with everything he said, but it's a race to the bottom. There's no question it's a race to the bottom, and you can see the price war going on in China. That's being replicated here in Australia. And that will heat up over the next few years as more cars go on sale here and more market players, more brands are coming to Australia as well. The cheapest EV for Australia in Australia right now is $30,000. It's cheaper than a Toyota Corolla. That's 20,000 US dollars. Yeah, actually less. It's about 19,000 US dollars, and it's actually quite good. It's the BYD Dolphin. There's a range of other cars around that price as well. There's got to be more and more of them coming. By 2030, there'll be the cheapest cars in Australia to buy won't be internal combustion. They'll be EVs. RSEV said that these confidence in EVs was lacked because of doubts over owners' ability to find qualified EV technicians and concerns about the viability and safety of second-hand EV parts. Do those things sound real to you? qualified EV technicians to do exactly what, I don't know, and concerns about the viability and safety of secondhand EV parts. Why would you buy secondhand EV parts? Just buy new EV parts if you need new EV parts. I mean, I don't really get that. Obviously, car warranties are a minimum 5 years these days. Some of them are 10 years. Anyhow, BYD, they just recorded their best month of sales in Australia in June, and they delivered more than 8,000 vehicles, which was growth of 368% versus June last year. That's just wild. That means that not that far to Toyota. Toyota sold 20,000 cars. They have a bit of a monopoly on the car market in Australia, but Toyota had 15% market share in Australia. The same month last year, Toyota had close to 20% market share. So these Chinese brands, yeah, they are taking market share from Toyota. There's no question about that on a statistical basis. I mean, put it this way, Ford, second in Australia, they sold 10,000 cars. BYD sold 8,000. Give it another year, BYD is going to be second in Australia. I don't think there's any question about that. Mazda was 9,400, Hyundai was 8,400. Basically, they equaled Hyundai. So, driving BYD's growth is the launch of the BYD Shark, which has become one of the best-selling utes in the country behind the Ford Ranger and the Toyota Hilux. The Shark, I think when they give it 3.5-ton towing and potentially upgrade it a little bit, put some locking diffs on there, I think it'll be the best-selling ute pickup truck in Australia. BYD are very aggressive. They're willing to sell at prices well below their rivals. And let's be honest, the vehicles are pretty good too. The car retails for $57,000, right? That means it's like nearly $30,000 cheaper than the Ford Ranger plug-in hybrid, which has quite a small battery. With each month, you can see just how popular BYD vehicles are becoming in Australia because you can see them on our roads, said BYD Chief Operating Officer Stephen Collins. As we can transition to a fully factory-backed operation, we commend the foundation, blah, blah, blah. Okay, marketing speak. But yeah, let's be honest, guys. The automotive industry is heading in only one direction, and that is to being EV only, eventually. In Australia, it'll take longer, but Europe and China will be EV only within 10 years. Plug-in hybrids, all those, they're going to disappear. There's no purpose to having a plug-in hybrid when you've got a battery that can deliver you all the range you need. When you can get 600 miles of range or 1,000 kilometers of range from an EV battery, and it's affordable, there would be no reason for internal combustion or plug-in hybrids or any kind of hybrid whatsoever. So the future of the automotive industry, that includes Australia, is fully electric. Now, if the future of the automotive industry is fully electric, here's the problem for legacy automakers, Toyota and all those big brands. They don't make a profit selling EVs, right? And the Chinese, well, they make EVs at much lower cost than legacy automakers. They have dedicated, massive production facilities, very efficient. Their workers work incredibly hard, and therefore they have huge advantages. How can you compete with that? And that's the point that Scott is making. The Barefoot Investor is saying, you can't compete with them. That's why it's inevitable as they get better and cheaper, that's where the market will go. Now, will it look like JB Hi-Fi? Probably not, but the analogy kind of makes sense. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Bye-bye.